Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
How's everyone doing today? Top of the noon to everybody. As I want to welcome y'all again. We coming with trauma talk. We talking about that trauma that's got you going through a lot of drama. And if you're looking for a source, it may have came from your mama. So that we have I'm talking about a certified traumatologist here, Dr. Sandra Robinson, a doctor. I'm talking about professional. I call her traumatologist. We don't know if that's the real name of her position, but we're going to classify it here. But again, like I said, we got the answers to y'all questions that y'all have been. I'm talking about y'all hit me up with some questions. As Miss Auntie San said, it's your favorite auntie right here. She said she was up. Lady, I answering these questions that y'all asked.
Oh my God, so many questions. I thought I was back teaching college again. Like, okay. It's a lot, so we'll just dive right into them.
Yeah, exactly. So, like I said, it's a lot of questions, but we're going to make sure to get to the ones that I see what I really emphasized about, that I really was stressing about. I said, that's the ones we want to get to.
Okay, just a little bit about myself while he's actually navigating to where the questions are. Hi, my name is Dr. Sandra Robertson. He called me a traumatologist. By actual professionalism, I'm a PhD in education. With a concentration in leadership and then also adult behavior. And so, teaching at the college level, you have a lot of students that have a lot of traumatic issues. And as I was listening to a lot of those traumatic issues, they resonated with some of my life. And so once I retired in 2019, I decided, what am I going to do in my life? Well, my son really decided it for me when he seen me just enjoying life too much, and he was working. He wanted me to be working along with him. So anyway, long story short, I had always thought about, writing books. And God gave me the vision for the childhood scars, release from pain to healing. And one of the things is that the book really reflects a lot about my childhood scars and behaviors along with research. And so these are phenomenal books. I'm not just saying it because I am the author, but, I read them, the books and do a lot of the activities myself. And I'm just in awe at how God blessed me to be able to produce this product. So today we're talking about generational scar trauma. This is an area that people have really kept under the sheets. Where they don't want, you hear this old saying, what goes on in the house stays in the house. And yes, I do believe that you shouldn't be advertising a lot of your business. But I also believe that you cannot heal if you don't have a resource that you can use to help aid in that healing. And so, and that's what we're going to do today. What we're doing today is just making you aware that this is a major situation that we are inflicted and we have no control. So now, as I'm giving you, I'm saying like Adam Smith, the old psychologist said, when I help you, I empower you to help someone else. These books is really an empowerment to help someone else, and that is what I'm doing. And so MVP got oh my God, does he have questions for me today?
I told you I got them questions for you. Y'all had a lot of questions because again, when I told you we starting to go Facebook Live with these. If you don't get the questions now, you can always feel free to hit us up later on, and we will get us questions answered when we do go live again. We got you. So again, that's she's in the introduction to chapter 11, generational scar trauma. Number one, we had here generational scar trauma is an abusive norm passed down through generations and families.
You want me to answer that?
Yeah, please.
Okay, I'm going to do a little reading so I can answer the question, and then I'll actually expound on it a little bit more. In most cases, childhood scars happen to you by a parent or a caregiver, or it also can be a family member. And it's hard to understand why someone you trusted will abuse you. And that is hard. And that was one of the things that I struggle with. You're looking at a mom, a dad, a caregiver, or family members. These are people you learn to trust. How can they abuse you? So you ask other family members, about their childhood experiences growing up, because when you abuse, you think you're the only person suffering with that type of abuse. And you will be surprised to find out that you're not alone. I think we suffer a lot because we think we're alone, and we're embarrassed about it because we think we're alone, and we are the only person that this has happened to. When you know why we say that? Because we're the only person experiencing it.
Exactly.
I can't experience your abuse,
Right.
and you can't experience mine.
That's right.
So since I'm experiencing this abuse independently, I feel that no one else, but someone else could be experiencing the same type of abuse. But here we trust these people. And yet, outside of the family, you can be abused as well. But a lot of the childhood scars does happen in the family. And so when you ask other family members, how was their childhood, you will discover that a lot of the abuse that you incurred, they have too. And you know what they say? They say that it would not have happened if they didn't love you. So your family has identified abuse with love.
With love.
How in the world? But here we go. Then we pass down all of this abuse to other generations, because with the mind record, it's a mindset when they say that. They set that in your mind, and you actually believe that. Can I expound a little bit?
Oh, yeah, please.
I know that my mom, and I'm going to ask my family, my siblings, please don't call me, but I'm just trying to do this not to bash her, but to get the world to understand mindsets, how they're created, as well as generational abuse. So my mom would beat me with an extension cord. I think at the time I probably only, my weight probably was only about 78 or 80 pounds. And I have this woman that's my size now beating me with an extension cord. And I hated that. And it left webs. I was a cheerleader, and it left webs up my legs. And then I go to practice, and people looking at me, and I felt isolated, and I just really felt bad. And I got married, and my little 8-year-old did something. Really wasn't that bad. And what did I do? I reached for the extension cord. And as I began to strike him with the cord, I began to weep, because I was inflicting the same pain on him that I hated when it was inflicted on me. Thank God that his dad came home at the time. We do have angels around, and said, "What are you doing? Don't you ever hit my child like that." And he found it so abusive, because he wasn't disciplined that way. He could not believe in his mind that as much as I wanted a baby, that I would even hit him with my hand. I prayed, I cried, everyone was having a child, and here I am blessed with a child, and I'm inflicting the same pain. So that's where these scars come from. It's old norms of the family that has never been healed. And we're going to begin the healing process today.
That's right. And I'm saying, the healing process, it starts with who? You. It starts with yourself. And as you said, you can't experience somebody else's trauma, but you can relate to it.
That's right.
That's where these questions come from. And everybody's reached out because, again, you're relating to the trauma which we're speaking of, which, again, this is in the book. We're only speaking of what's in the book. And that's something, again, that you need to read to have that knowledge for yourself.
That's
so
right.
We can give you a brief summary of what the book does have. But in order to get the full process of the book, you must read the book.
That's right.
You can't skip that step. We can give you as much information as possible, but that book got everything you need.
Thank you.
Yeah, I do see a lot of people reaching out and they're asking these questions. I'm like, hey, we can get you answers to your questions, but a lot of them answers in this book. And at one point it was a sale going on, it was about 50% off, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, right now you can buy both books for $35.
I mean, both books. and again, you have to get both of them, because you can't read the book and not do the work. The workbook is to put the work in from the book. That's right.
The workbook really is the healing process. The book is really gaining knowledge that the scars does exist and how they exist and the different types of scars that you can incur in a lifetime. The book is going to give you the activities to begin the healing process.
Exactly. Yeah, because again, like I said, it's a workbook. Like I said, the book is going to give you knowledge and let you know where you at. You now understand that you have trauma. Now you need to work it out in a positive way. That's where the book comes into play.
And they're fun activities.
And it's not.
It's not. You know, I'm a professor by trade, and they're fun. I just the other day, if you looked on my Facebook page or on my website, AuntieSan.com, you would see I was in my car and getting ready to walk to the park. I mean, go to the park to walk and do a lot of the activities that I had gotten out of the workbook. So you enjoy the workbook.
Yeah, it's not an SAT or anything like that. You're not studying for a test.
Not.
It's really going to help you out.
Exactly.
It's fun activities where you can get active.
Exactly.
But again, this is what we're discussing right now, because some more questions we have was, this was my favorite one. They said, how do we attract better partners? And this was something that you really touched on that I felt like it's going to give the people some good information, because it really was the last word you said here, like in the sentence that really stuck with me. It says, "Who you are not will not be reflected."
That's right.
That right there summed up everything. When it said, "How do you attract a better partner?" That is how.
You attract people who you are, where you are at the time. And that's where jealousy comes in, because here you are, you all, I'm just going to figuratively speak, and it may not be a very good example, but you're all robbing banks. You're all at this point in your life where you're robbing banks. And then all of a sudden you have this aha moment, and you say, you know what, I just had my sister graduate from college, and she had diabetes real bad. She was sick the whole time, and through her sickness, she was able to graduate with high honors. Why am I taking the easy way out and jeopardizing my future when I can do the same thing? And so once you sign up for the first class, that old environment that you once were part of becomes jealous. Why? Because they haven't had that aha moment, or are they have enough self-identification, self-esteem to be able to do it. So they are in the fear mode, and you're in the conquer mode, and they're in the fear mode. And so they're going to throw all kind of daggers. What are daggers? Daggers are nothing but abusive words in a sweet form. And then they go, I'm sorry. They meant everything. Get my book on relationships that's coming out in 2 months, and you're going to see exactly where daggers come from and in that unconscious mind. Because once they say, oh, she thinks she's all of that, and start believing, what they're doing is they don't believe that they can do it. And you can do all things through Christ that give you strength. I mean, from my abusive childhood, I've become a doctor, a PhD, which is the highest doctorate degree that you can get in the world. I'm a black female, only less than 2.5 black females in the world, less than 2.5, holds this degree. And if I can do it, you can do it. I'm going to tell you that right now, from my childhood past. So you are going, wherever you are in your life, you're attracting people that's really where you are in your life. It's you're reflecting that. So you may see everyone, let's say everyone, I remember one time that I was single. So I always attracted single people. I was single, I attracted single people. When I became married, I did what? I attracted married people. Because that's where I was at the time. If I was having problems in my marriage, guess what? I attracted people who were having problems in their marriage. You with me? So when you are in a relationship with others, stop and look at where you are. And so where you are is a reflection from your friends, the people who you associate yourself with. they are reflecting you, where you are. And so once you do some self introspection and get alone with you and really start saying, and I had to do that. And I'm stubborn. So God had to take all of them away.
Mm-hmm.
And in October, I just looked and he was just family, siblings, not just family, cousins, siblings, sisters, brother, girlfriends that I've been friends with 15 plus years, 15, 30, because I'm a lifer. Once you bond with me, I don't want to give you up.
That's right.
And it was hard for me to do that, but God gave me he had been telling me all along, but he said, you're just not going to do it. So you know what? I'm just going to take you out of this environment. Because I was growing, I had become a doctor, and when you're writing books, you cannot be around a lot of chaos because you can't write. You have to have. That's why authors get away and do what? They go to different areas, far, far away in the woods somewhere, so that they can think. Because when you are a writer, when you're an author, you cannot have chaos in your life or chaos around you. And so God knew He was going to use me in this capacity to birth these books, and I got a lot more to come. And I had to get into a better environment. And when you can get along, you can grow. People are not growing in numbers. You grow alone. This is your individual experience. And it's time. I don't even watch television.
Oh yeah, because it's all the same thing.
I don't watch television because a lot of the shows leave me traumatic, and it's just like having a whole bunch of people around. So when I'm writing, I cannot watch television. I cannot tell you the last time I watched television. Now, what I try to do after each book, take a month off, and I sometimes go to the movies. And now I'm so traumatized when I go anywhere now because I'm so used to having that quietness.
Yeah.
I try not to even, but you're going to find out that you're going to do more alone. And having girlfriends, don't get me wrong, that is beautiful when y'all share the same season, the same environment. You cannot be a doctor and helping and associating yourself with people that's just beginning or not where you are. It's going to always be daggers. So like people associate with each other. I have a lot of people and friends that are not doctors, don't get me wrong, but you cannot just keep allowing yourself to be environments that you've outgrown. You have to let them go.
You got to let them go because, a lot of people being loyal to the wrong soil.
That's right.
That's when you put the soul in the right place, you can be loyal to it, no problem.
That's right. And how do I know if I've outgrown this environment?
Oh, that pot started to break up.
You better believe it. Here come the daggers.
Here they come.
They're gonna be. I did that better than you. Yeah, I did. I did that better than you. Who cares? It got done. They're gonna try to elevate themselves above you. It's no elevation above anyone. Everyone has their own purpose and own for life, and so you're just working your purpose on this earth. And so it's no really competition, but people want to compete. Now, if you're running a race, it is competition because guess what? Who's gonna make it to the goal line? That's all. That's it. If it's an athletic sport or something that nature, y'all compete because guess what? Someone is going to win. But in your friends, it's no winners. But if you have like-mindedness, you're encouraging your girlfriend. You are a blessing to that person, and they should be a blessing to you. But the minute they throw a dagger at you, you know the relationship is getting ready to end. Because one dagger accepted is going to be more daggers coming.
Oh yeah, so going to be more daggers coming.
That's right.
And again, most of them coming to the back where you can't see it.
That's right.
But again, especially around, like I said, the people that you're around, because you'll know in certain situations. Like I said, when I had a friend recently who just got a new home and everything, and all of us was around them old friends. Like we've been there from the beginning. It was no hate, no animosity, all motivation. That's how you know you're around the right people. Because it was no that subtle jab person. Oh, you got a house, but man, your backyard looking a little crazy. I don't know about that. It's always somebody you won't know. It's gonna be signs. Because when you start accomplishing more, they hate gonna grow more.
That's only because of their insecurities.
That's right.
And you know what? Just like you just said, you just seen your friend grow. So you looked at yourself and you said, you know what? I can grow. So we're going to look at comparisons, look at it in a positive way.
That's right.
You know what? What am I doing that I would like to be there? I would like to have my own home. And ask them, you know, what are some of the steps that you took to get you where you are? And, you know, just like girlfriends, you go through, and guy friends, you go through some challenges in your relationship. And you don't get up there and say, oh, leave him, he ain't no good, or leave her, she ain't no good. You say, put your clothes on, let's go walking. Or put your clothes on, let's go and have lunch together. Encourage the person. But sitting there talking about the situation is not going to change it. And that's where a lot of narcissism come in. And you know, what is a narcissist? Everybody has a definition of a narcissist. I'm going to tell you this. A narcissist is someone that is spoiled, that wants their way, and know how to manipulate people to get it. So the narcissist is always what they call winning indirectly. They are very, very insecure people. And they will do anything in the sun to make sure that they're always winning or where they think they're winning. They will actually they will abuse you, and you sit there and you're lost because the narcissist always start off is someone that is really nice to you. This is all a strategy. So you go, oh my God, she's so nice, or he's so nice. And so it's like a mental imprinting. They imprint your mind and to make you think something that is not reality. And it's all a stage to get what they want. You look up and that narcissism got every single thing that they want. And you go, you always getting what you want out of me. Why? Because that person they know that they look at your kindness as weakness. And they prey on that. And they prey on it until they start controlling. And you're set up there, and before you know it, you're being controlled, and you don't even know it. And then all of a sudden, when you do that self-introspection and begin to become one with yourself, then all of a sudden, all of the dysfunction will automatically emerge. You would look and say, well, you know what? When they say, get up and do this, and you go, you know what? Who are you talking to? They're stunned. Because for years, they've been telling you, get up and do this, and you jump up and do it. Or do this and do that, and you do it. But then when you get alone, that's why being alone, and I fought it. I'll be honest with you. I fought being alone. Because I've always was around, I had 5 siblings. And so I actually was always had people around me. So to be alone, it's kind of fearful a little bit. But once you get that fear factor out of the way, you love it. And that's when you can identify the abuse, because you come out of the abuse. You come out of the environment and go into the main environment. That's you, your own world. Go into your own world. And that's when you're going to discover you and what you like and what you don't like. So your question about how do we attract narcissists, they come from us. We attract them. That we attract them. So you have to make sure you know yourself, you get healthy, and if you begin to get healthy, then guess what? All healthy relationships will be reflected in you, and that's what you will attract.
So again, let's speak a little more again. What's in the book? That's why I need to read the book to get this full information. Because so like another question that we had asked was, you know, how do you rebuild trust after betrayal? And the best thing that you said here was counseling. That which you do offer, again, on your website. That's right. www.auntiesan.com. You see it up there in the header right there. And I said, make sure again, because that'll link you to more than just the books. And I said, it's more that's there to offer. Counseling. That's something that you said can rebuild, you know, some trust back to someone. You got to do counseling. How can that help?
Counseling really helps because you know what? We need to release the abuse. And abuse is all our interpretation. It's our interpretation. Really, if I'm going to say something that's going to startle you, that word is not really a valid word. Because what you may tolerate, I may not tolerate, and vice versa.
That's right.
So when I internalize it, it's based on me having expectations of a person that is not qualified to deliver. So because that person is not qualified to deliver, I now change the way I view the person and say that the person is abusive, when this is the person's normal behavior. I also want to say this. Everyone has a different relationship with you. No two people has the same relationship. So you have to always be number one within yourself and know where you are. So how do you rebuild? Counseling helps because it helps you get to a place of oneness within yourself. Sometimes you need someone to help guide you, especially if you've been in a marriage for 5+ years and you've given a lot into that relationship and that person had an affair with someone else. Probably the whole 5 years you were in the relationship. And because we form these unhealthy attachments, it's hard to let go. So we keep going back and they keep beating us up again. And we keep going back and they keep beating us up again. And through counseling, we teach you how to let go. And it's not always easy, because once you have formed that attachment, it is not that easy to break. How many have found it hard to break cigarette smoking, or weed smoking, or overweight eating? I like sweets. I'm still fighting that.
That's right.
Because once you attach to something, it's not that easy. Look at something you have glued together and now it's sealed and you're trying to unglue it. What's going to happen? It's going to break. That's what we have to get you to do. We got to get you to where you break down all of those old mindsets, and we help you to rebuild it with new mindsets, with new activities. And so I would say counseling. If you read my book, do the workbook, and you see that you still need some more help, because, you can read it and how you internalize it. You may read the book and say, I really like it, but I'm still dealing with this situation. All you have to do is go to www.auntiesan.com and book a counseling session with me. And we will, my goal here on life, my purpose is to heal and to help people heal, because it took me 60 years. I do not want you to take 60 years when life is so beautiful and enjoyable to be in that type of mind. I mean, of course, I had a lot of the material things and did all that, but I'm talking about that inward healing where you're 100% in control of you. And you're not afraid to say, no, I'm not going to do that. And because you're so comfortable with you that you don't need someone to qualify you for their world. So that's my number one answer, is definitely counseling.
I'm glad you spoke on that, because a lot of us think counseling is a weakness if you go to get some counseling, or if you go to a therapist, you think it's a sign of weakness.
I thought so too.
Yeah, we all think that, because how we're brought up. If you ask for help, you seem weak. You got to be strong and take it on your own. That's the only way you get respect. That's basically how we, the picture we were painting. But again, the counseling is going to help you let go of them unhealthy attachments and form a healthy attachment. As you say, the attachments don't go anywhere because they're hard to break. You're going to always be attached to them sweets in some type of way, no matter what age you are. You like them when you was young, you're going to like them later on when you're old.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to happen. But you want to make sure your attachment's healthy. Maybe you can replace it with something else, like a rice cake instead of eating a honey bun.
I'll say fruit.
You can throw some fruit in there, but I know how you gotta take steps.
Yeah, you do.
Just start there,
and then that's what counseling is. Yeah. Counseling is helping you take steps.
Take steps.
And so if you fall a little bit, counseling is there to encourage you to get back up.
That's right.
So I really do recommend
Yeah.
counseling. I do feel that it should be a timeline with counseling because guess what? You can form an unhealthy attachment with a counselor.
Ooh.
And so you want to make sure that when you do your counseling, and especially with me, we're going to set a timeline.
That's right.
I mean, I'm not here just to get your money. I have enough money to live off of. I mean, of course, everyone wants to have more, and I am a person that would like to have more. But I have enough right now to take care of my needs.
That's right.
So I'm not here to say we're going to do this for a whole year. No, we're not. We're not. The maximum time would be 6 months. I'm going to try to push you for 3 months, but the maximum would be 6 months. And then after that, I'll tell you, you really need to go and talk to a doctor to get on some medication if you have not been able to work with me within that time.
Yeah,
but usually with my clients, we really finish within 3 months' time,
Yeah.
where I get them to the point where they can self-maintain and use a lot of the things that we have discussed. And really, they call me on a regular basis now and say, Doc, I thank you so much because with some things that I did not see, and you brought clarity. And a lot of them have walked away from bad relationships. A lot of them are married now.
Yeah.
And so I've been doing this for a little over 5 years. And my joy I get is to see people really coming into the oneness within themselves.
That's right.
Because when you do that to you, that's power. Everybody think power is having billions of dollars in the bank. No, it's not. No. If that was the case, why so many movie stars are killing themselves? Or why so many people that have all this money is committing suicide? Power comes from being within, knowing yourself, who you are, what you like, don't like, what you're going to tolerate, won't tolerate, setting boundaries, and saying no to people when you don't want to do something. I tell people right now, can you come help me clean up? No, I'm not going to do that. I have somebody do that. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to help you move. I'm not going to do those things. But, our friendship cannot be based on me qualifying for you. We have to qualify for one another, and we have to complement one another. So
that's right. You have to compliment one another.
You have to.
You got to. And I said, again, that leads on to, again, we go to our next question here. Because this was talking about, why is it so hard to acknowledge these scars? And one thing that you really spoke on was that it's the exposure now these days, because as you know, we're in the social media area where everything is on camera. It was a point in time in life, if people can't believe it, nothing was on camera as much.
That's right.
And during the 90s, it's not too much camera time there. But now that everything's on camera, we see people at their highest, at their weakest as well.
That's right.
So it makes you can relate too, like, wow, if somebody that high can come down, the same can happen to us.
That's right.
Because if you can go up, you can come down too. But that's what again, that's exposure. That's what we're speaking on, of how it's helping you acknowledge these scars, because you'll see other people in higher positions and you can relate to them with their scars.
Yeah, like you said, it's an ego thing.
Yeah.
It's an ego thing. And nobody wants to be seen where they view that they are weak.
Yeah.
And what is weakness? It's a matter of perception. That's weakness. Weakness is an internal thing. You have a goal. Like, okay, for instance, I'm trying to drop a couple of pounds now, and so a weakness is, here you go, they bring cookies and candy in the house.
Oh, there you go.
Why are you bringing that in? And I'm going to avoid it, but I'm going to walk, every time I walk downstairs, I see it.
Temptation.
That is a weakness.
Ooh.
That's a weakness, because some people say, well, the cake is calling me the cookie. No, they're not. You have not formulated discipline to where it's you. In other words, you really don't want that goal. Because if you know you want to lose 10 pounds and you eat one slice of cake, and you can look at how much the calories per slice, and it goes by the size. You have to really weigh it to make sure you're not. And you eat that, do you know that's setting you back? You just left the gym, you done working and sweating and everything, you done burned about 1,000 calories, and you put it right back on.
Right back on.
That's a weakness. Now, if you, let's say you're doing a presentation, and you stumble over something, that's not a weakness. That's a lack of preparation. A weakness is internal. And you are the one that gives it a what? Definition. You give it truth. But okay, let's say I walk downstairs and I see the cake and I don't eat it. Now, yesterday I seen it and I ate it. Today I seen it and I'm not eating it. So was I weak yesterday and I'm not weak today? That's a matter of what? Perception.
That's right. It's
No one can tell you you're weak because you see. And how do people tell us we're weak? We tell them things we're going to do, and then they see that we don't do it, and then that's when they say you're weak. But if you keep your mouth closed and you don't say it, they won't say anything.
Never know.
But because they're a reflection of you, and what comes out of their mouth to you is a reflection of you. That means you've said some things, and they're just only repeating what you've said. So that's a weakness. Other than that, a weakness is independent. It's a matter of perception, and that is according to you. No one can tell you you're weak. No one can feel that. That's totally up to you. So if I'm going to give an example of weakness, that would be what I would say weakness. Outside of that, it's no such thing as a weakness.
Outside of that, there's no such thing as a weakness. And let me make sure we got a question up there. I'm going to double check.
Okay.
You know, I'm always make sure I answer your questions. I told you, especially if you live, you tuning in. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Appreciate that, Mom. Very informative. Someone, yeah. Look, thank you, Mom.
I do have a lot of children. I only birthed one, but I do have a lot of children, so thank you.
Listen to them reach for help instead of ending their life. Yeah, you never know, because people.
What did he say?
Because you know how you can be in an unhealthy attachment. You can get to the point where the only way you see out is by taking your life.
And you know what? And I'm gonna be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone has had those thoughts.
That's right.
I was in an unhealthy marriage, and I could not understand what is it. Mm-hmm. That this person continues. Don't he see my value and my worth? Mm-hmm. And I looked around, and I want to share this with you. I looked around, and he wasn't the only one. Mm. My whole circle, which we call an environment, was all of these same people. Mm. It originated from childhood. And because I had not healed from the childhood scars, I had envisioned in my mind how I wanted a healthy relationship to be. Mm-hmm. But I hadn't healed. So I attracted who I was at the time. Mm. And all of my relationships reflected years ago. Until one day, I had enough. And I say, never again. And that's when all my relationships that I allowed to continue changed. But see, when you really start entering into a relationship, again, it's where you are. It reflects your environment. It reflects who you are. And because you outgrown it, doesn't mean that that person has outgrown it. Exactly. So you're living in a life that is not your life. Mm-hmm. Because now you view that person as narcissistic and controlling, but are you a little narcissistic and controlling as well? Mm-hmm. You haven't taken the time to get to know you. Mm-hmm. But once you do, you'll see a different you. You will see a different you. Right. So I think your question was...
in the mirror.
You know, when you had said here, how do we... No, we on 4?
Yeah.
Yeah, on 4. How do we get unaccustomed to abusive situations? Yeah. Stop allowing the abuse. And it begins with you. Stop abusing yourself. I gave you an example about the cake. If I want to, now, if I wasn't, trying to reduce some weight, eat all the cake you want. But if I had set a goal for myself, mm-hmm. abuse comes when I do what? I don't respect the goal that I set for myself. Mm-hmm. Now I'm mad that they're bringing in the candy, the cookies and all that, but they didn't set that goal. I did. So abuse comes in when I allow misuse of me. Mm-hmm. And you can do that yourself. So we want to always say someone else is abusing us, but it really starts internally. Always, yes. What you allow within yourself is going to be resonated through someone else. So once you set some goals for yourself, once you get time, really start learning who you are and get one within yourself, you're going to see a different person and you're going to attract different relationships because it's going to reflect where you are.
That's right. Again, it's going to urge you. That's why you're attracting people that's, where you at in life, because again, you have similar traits. So you're attracted to each other in some way. But again, that's what the book is here for, so you can navigate that. You can know the people you're attracting, whether they're good or bad. The book is going to let you know because you're going to set up boundaries after reading the book. You're not going to no longer, again, you had enough. So when you have enough, you're going to start setting up that wall. That's what you want to make sure you do. And so let's say we're moving on to one of our, I want to make sure you get to the question that y'all really was on me about.
Okay.
That's what I'm trying to say. The people, they was on me.
Good.
I was on me.
And this is what I like about your generation.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all don't want to live like we did. We tolerated too much, which we call abuse. Too much. We gave people, and I want to say control. We gave people too much control over us. And I love this young generation. That's why these books are targeted for you guys. Because you all are really like little sponges. You really want to come out of that. And I am so happy that when I leave this earth, I know we have a better America. Because the way things are going now, we need strong people. We can't have you all traumatized and don't know who you are. Because these other surrounding countries right now are plotting ways to take over America.
That's right.
And so if we have you all still fighting one another, beating one another up, and so we so fixated on what this person is doing to me and etc., we are losing focus on what we should do. And so these books will help you heal so that you can be used against the enemy.
That's right.
The enemy is going to take over because when we say weak, we're weak in knowledge. And the enemy is gaining knowledge to be able to overtake us. So we have to be strong in knowledge so that they cannot accomplish what they're setting out to do.
Yeah, because again, they say knowledge is power. As long as you have knowledge, you can always get more power of anything, whether it be money.
Oh, yes.
Not saying anything.
That's right.
That comes from knowledge first.
That's right.
But again, you have to equip yourself with the knowledge. That's what the books are for. To equip you with the knowledge, and then you're going to execute it as well.
That's right.
As somebody told me, you got to absorb and execute.
That's right.
That goes hand in hand. And then again, like number 7 says, how do we rid ourselves of the generational trauma? It's essential to understand that what happened in your childhood and talking with family members is a start. Family willing to share their stories. Some family members want to keep their family business a secret. By doing this, they keep the trauma alive by passing it on to the next generation.
Again, and in my workbook, and I forgot what chapter it is in, it's where sometimes you just have to call your children in and say, please, I just want to apologize for the way, your upbringing. I feel that I could have done better, but you did the best that you could with the knowledge that you had at the time. But going forward, tell me what some of the ways that we can do going forward. I mean, we can't go back. I mean, we cannot go back. So what can we do going forward? And one of the things that, because I even asked my own son, and I was surprised at his response. He said, "You didn't discipline me enough." And I said, well, I got disciplined so much that was not something that I was going to do. I always allow you to tell me what you think with the lack of knowledge that you had. And I always had him give me 3 things. And, of course, he was going to take the lesser of the 3. And it was okay as long as he was made aware of that was not the right path to take. And that's all I can do as a parent. But, start somewhere. Be the change agent in your family. You notice that, and stop the Medias and all these other people who has control and inflicting more scars in the family. Start showing them a little bit more love. Bring them some flowers. Do some things that's going to deflate, because those are people that are wounded from childhood scars, and they have not had the privilege of having these books like you all.
That's right.
Or having, like what you were just saying, social media. That has really, really, really been able to showcase a lot of things that are positive as well as negative. And, and I'm going to say, just like what T.D. Jakes said this morning that I heard, he said that people who inflict pain on you will get it. It's a law of reciprocity. So whatever you sow will be what? It will be given right back to you. And so no one gets away with bad behavior. You think they do because you internalize it and you keep reliving the offense. So they keep winning.
That's right.
But they don't, because every time And this one person was saying, I did nothing. 99% of the time, you haven't done anything but show them love, but they don't know how to receive love because they have never gotten love according to what they wanted. Because everyone has their own love language and what they view as love. And so because you're having that experience, and they never had that experience, so they don't know how it feels. And until you have that experience, and I can tell you, like with me, it took years before I really fell in love. Right. Because I had so much of the same environment around me that I felt was abusive, because I had not come into oneness with myself. And so then all of a sudden, at the end of me, the abuse, I attracted someone that tore my butt up. But I felt so in love with this person, and that was the first time I felt it. Until I had to understand, and I often ask, I said, God, why would you bring this person in my life to beat me up like that? And he said, because I'm going to use you to be able to help the world heal. And if you have never experienced love before, you can't help them. You have to have experienced it. Now, I experienced it. He said he did, but he didn't. Because his behavior was showing me something different. But the person had never apparently experienced love, because the way I was showing love, but I would just really... Anyway, what he was saying is that person is going to reap what they sow. Just like you reap what you sow. So you have to always be cognizant of your behavior, because whatever your behavior is, how you treat your children, your family, your friends, it's going to be reflected right back to you. And guess what? It's going to happen to you. And it's going to be in a way that's going to be a whole lot more challenging than what you did. So be careful with that.
Be careful with that. Because again, like you speak on in the book is, it's different rules in different people's worlds. You put yourself in that person's world where, again, abuse is probably normal in their world. Because that's what they're used to. But you put yourself in that situation, now you a person that's a part of that abuse because you put yourself in the world you didn't know about. That can happen again by not having the knowledge. Because I'll come back down to the knowledge. If you have the knowledge to either know how to move forward and know when to do it and know who to do it with.
Exactly.
That's what this book's going to give you.
But let me read a little bit from the book that I wrote in that. It said, it is essential to understand what happened in your childhood. And you're talking to other family members is a start for the generational scars. And they're going to tell you some stories and some things of that nature. And you're going to really be able to identify. And one of the most healing part is, you're not alone. Because I think that's what the whole problem is that we feel we are the only person, and we're not. Right. And so I want you to know this before we even move on. You are a survivor. That no matter what all of the challenges that you have faced, you survived those challenges. So you're more stronger than you think you are. You are a person who has survived the traumatic events, and now you want to heal. Not only do you want to heal, but you want to make sure that the next generation does not suffer the scars that you have. You already experienced your trauma, your pain, and the disappointments. But if you can spare your children and other family members, you are the change agent in your family. No one has been brave enough to tackle this situation.
That's right.
To model a healthy family relationship. To do things to make sure that the next generation does not suffer. You are the change agent. So make the change. If you're watching us today, you're ready to make the change.
That's right. Make
the change. Start with purchasing the books. You can purchase them on www.auntiesan.com. You can go directly to Amazon and Amazon.com and click on Childhood Scars, Release from Pain to Healing. Get your books. And don't just buy a set of books for you. Buy a set of books for other people in your family or your friends that needs this. I mean, it has to be an infiltration of knowledge in order for the environment to change. You're the change agent. You're starting but you have to have resources. And like a couple of people, what they've been doing is they have been ordering. I got an order just this morning of 10 books. And everybody want to take advantage of the $35 special.
That's right.
And they have bought enough so that they are starting a book club where each chapter they're going to discuss amongst themselves and begin the healing process and do the workbook exercises. And I say phenomenal. And I'm seeing now that these books, I'm glad I went on and did the special because, well, Adam and I did the special because it really, really, really is. They say, but 35 for 2 books, I can afford that. And so now it's starting people to be able to form book clubs and to do the exercises together. And I told them, I said, well, send me some videos.
That's right.
And some of the other groups have some sent videos, and Adam, who is my phenomenal. I tell you, between Adam and MVP, I mean, I am one blessed sister. I mean, these young people are so creative and everything, and we're gonna have a lot of that on my Facebook page, right, as well as on my www.auntiesan.com page. So
right,
send them in, and you got to let Adam be able to, so send them to me, and then I'll let him screen them, and then he'll post it on the on my website.
And as you see, like I said, because again, the book is becoming popular, becoming a more and more book clubs. We're gonna get to the point where you're gonna be get Auntie San to come through and bless your book club.
I will do that.
I'm just saying, you can schedule.
I would do that. I have, as a matter of fact, in August, I have a book club of 25 women.
Okay.
In Carolina, that is paying for my accommodations to come. I told them they don't have to pay me. Usually I do have people pay, but they were the first ones to order my book for the book club, and they ordered 25. So I told them, I said, as being the first ones to order 25 books, I'm talking about the book and the workbook, and that was before I had the $35 special. I said, I will come. And you don't have to give me any type of consultant fee at all. But now you do have to pay for my accommodations because my gas. And so they said, well, we got you.
Right,
so I'm definitely going there.
That's right. See, as you reach out more and get tuned in, and again get accustomed to getting the book, you can get to the point where you want to reach out to others and provide them with the information as well. Give them the book.
That's right.
Form a book club. Like you say, look, the accommodations ain't bad if y'all provide a service. It's beneficial to each other.
And I encourage it.
Yes.
I mean, I'm only one person. The whole purpose is to spread knowledge. And so, like Adam Smith said, as I help you, you help someone else. And so, a book club is phenomenal for this book. And you all come together, women, men, and women, let the men in. And men, let the women in. And let's stop segregating everything.
Yeah.
And let it be open. And in this book club, a lot of the women have their daughters. They have their daughters right there in the book club as well. So I love that. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, because again, that as a parent, that gave me more insight to the trauma I went through, and how I don't want my kids to go through that as
exactly.
well. And again, the book club, let it be open again to women and men, because we need information from each other. But if y'all in different rooms, we're not gonna get it.
No, you're not. I encourage. I really encourage.
But let the book be a medium and bring y'all together.
Exactly.
Now, that's what it's here for. It's here to bring others together who can relate to the trauma and handle it in a positive way.
Okay.
Yeah. So again, as you said, because speaking on how the generational trauma, how to deal with bitter relatives from that broken generation, and as you say it here, you don't.
You do not.
You do not. A lot of people feel attached to these,
you don't give validation to any form of which you view is abuse. Why are you validating it? It's going to continue. And, some people say, well, I know when I go over there for Thanksgiving, I'm going to hear him say all these horrible things. Don't go. How can someone change a behavior if you're encouraging it? You're tolerating. And whatever you tolerate, you give permission to. So if I tolerate your daggers or your words that come to, that are negative to me, then I'm giving you the permission to continue.
That's right.
If I don't want it to continue, I won't tolerate it, and I will not go. So if I go to a Thanksgiving, which, we're talking about Thanksgiving, where we need to be thankful for. I need to be thankful for everyone's in attendance that took the time to come share this day with me. So we don't really look at the benefit of life because we're so busy complaining. Here is Thanksgiving Day. We all should have come to the union thankful, appreciative that God has opened those doors for us to still be alive and to still be able to fellowship together. We should be laughing, having a good time. And here it is, you got something negative to say. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to give you an example. I have been in this book club for years, and one of the people in the book club, for some reason, start throwing daggers or whatever, and I guess she told the other person, and I'm there sitting there, and this person is taking pictures, and I'm thinking that I'm part of the picture taking, and next thing I know, I look on Facebook, and the person purposely excluded me. Mm. And there were some other events that happened, and I started to go. And now that my mindset is more healthy, my mindset said to me, and some people say that's the old saying, no, my mindset said, remember the last time you went and you thought that this person was a friend and this person purposely did that? Why are you gone and you know that person is going to be there? And I said, well, I'm just going to go. I'm going to show her. No, come from among them. Come from among them. Come from among them. Go where you're celebrated, not where you're tolerated.
Ooh, I'm glad you said that.
Go where you are celebrated, not where you're tolerated. And the minute that person showed me, and I had never done anything to her but love her, that showed me that she was willing to do that, I knew it was because it's always going to be a time to end relationships. Right. And it's never really anything good. It's always going to be something. And that kind of hurted me because I know I had never done anything, so where is this coming from? Mm-hmm. Who knows where it's coming from? Don't waste your time. When that person showed me who she was, that was it for me. And I knew she was going to be there, and I said, I'm not going to go and be around that environment anymore. I'm only going to be around environments that I know of likeness. That's right. And I stopped. So we have to stop. People say, well, my dear, no, I don't care about my dear. It's time for my dear to stop. That's right. And she's not going to stop as long, but when my dear see that there's nobody coming to that Thanksgiving meal, and she done cooked all that food, that's when Medea going to stop and say, you know what? I'm doing something wrong. And the next Thanksgiving, Medea attitude and behavior would have changed. But if you're going to sit there and you're going to keep on allowing the Medeas to do what they want to do, or whomever it is, I'm not trying to be prejudiced toward one person, but if you're going to allow just that little thing there, I'd had to take a step and say, you know what? I looked at me first. Could I have done anything or said anything to her? Because if somebody told her something that I said and she didn't call me and ask me, because people will, what they say, take a bone and bring a bone, but they not. Right. But guess what? You got to bring a bone to get a bone. That's right. Hello. Okay. So if you didn't bring a bone, you didn't get a bone. That's so right. That person said something too, and then you're being retaliatory of what somebody else said. So now you want to show me that's not the environment that I'm going to continue to be in. And so that's right. that answers that question right there. Right there. It definitely does. Stop the abuse. Stop the abuse.
Yeah, because now let's get down to our two most important questions here. Okay. I know this was the ones that y'all really was talking about. Okay. What steps can you take to build a better future, for the next generation?
Acquire knowledge. That's what helped. That's what helped me. And these books right here is my accumulation of knowledge. This is where I actually took the time and have put a lot into these books so that you can acquire knowledge. And I'm going to be honest with you, I learned a whole lot because when they talk about generational scar trauma, I always thought that it was what they call a curse. What is a curse? It's generational scar trauma. And so just acquire knowledge, and not only acquire, change. Make the necessary changes within yourself first. And you know what? Go internally and do a self-introspection and really look at you. And start jotting some things down. Journal. And so then highlight what you see that is really consistent. That's what journaling is so powerful. And then, at the end of the month, now I did an extensive one because I knew I was going to be writing the books. I took a whole year where I did a self-reflection. And I started reflecting on my relationships. I started reflecting on myself. I started reflecting on my career. I started looking at some things that I did that I wish I would have done differently, but my mindset was there. So I did what I did accordingly to where I was at the time. So it's no regrets in life. It's always what? Growing. We can say, oh, I can kick myself and beat myself. If I wouldn't have done that, I would have done that. Well, you know what? That's the knowledge that you had at the time. And so what do you do with the knowledge you had at the time? You have to grow. You have to grow. So I would say to do a self-introspection, get the books, really, really, really start working on yourself this year and see a new you before the end of this year.
But please, you will see a new you if you put that work in. Again, it only takes, he said 3 months to 6 months. Don't take that long to change it around.
I did a year because I knew I was going to be writing books.
Oh, yeah.
But I would say about 6 months.
6 months.
You should have a real good, strong self-reflection.
Yeah, you gotta help build your foundation back up, because again, that's what we want to do. So again, down though, because the last question here, this is only because somebody reached out. They was, speaking about how they can relate to everything. Like, man, I'm really doing a great job and everything. I said, hopefully, you can also get the book as well to get the information so you have access to you.
Because I experienced what you're experiencing.
Yeah, exactly.
And you know what? No one. And I keep saying this, and my girlfriend said the other day, stop saying this. I would be so much farther. I know I'm right where I'm supposed to be, but I just wish when people who used to listen to me, they used to listen to me whine about what was going on. They didn't give me the tools to change. I had to change, and as I start changing, I'll tell you right now, people around me, they be like, "What in the world has happened?" Because I tell people right off the bat, no, I'm not going to do that. I mean, it comes out so quickly. No, I'm not going to help you move. No, I'm not going to do that. I hire movers. No, I'm not going to come and clean your house. No, I hire people to do that. It's not an arrogant thing. I'm just letting you know. Now, if you want to go and have lunch or something, or if you want to sit down and we talk about something, then we can do that. But I do charge now. I do charge for counseling. It's not free. I mean, because I'm giving up my time. When you go to the job, they're paying you according to you giving up your time to do their job. And so you have to be respectful for my time as well.
Yeah, again, that's why another thing, because the last question was, what makes your book stand out from other trauma authors? Again, it's more so because you said these is real life of what you went through and how you healed from it. So that's why, it's more relatable because, again, you're speaking on from experience. And others probably experience the same as you. But I understand that the person asked me this question, I said, look, you can read the book and get information.
That's right. And I'll be honest with you, I wrote the book from my perspective, from my life, and somebody else may write one from their life. We all are giving our life story. We all putting our creativity in it. And so hopefully you find value in my book.
That's right.
And so I don't want to elevate myself this high above anyone else because we are all, if we wrote a book about trauma, we all are trauma victims. And so I looked at mine from a childhood scar. Some people just talk about trauma. I talk about the childhood scar where the actual childhood started, the scar started in the mother's womb. I didn't know that. And so I really give you a lot of information of where it started. So that when we have someone that is pregnant in our family or friends, we do things to help them during that time because whatever trauma they're experiencing, it goes to the baby.
It goes to the baby.
And so here a lot of us are dealing with, and I was one of them, dealing with childhood trauma that we didn't even experience the trauma. And I was amazed because I found some things out talking to my aunt. I'm thinking that my mom is doing these things because she's just mean and don't like me. She was just passing down the same thing was inflicted on her. So once I was able to forgive her when I knew it was a generational scar. But I also said this, it won't happen to my child. No, ma'am. My son and I have a beautiful relationship. You know why? Because I talk to him, allow him to talk to me, and in closing, the other day, he called me and he said, Mom, he got this friend he was talking to. They doing a little promoting. And he said, come, talk to Mom Deuce, talk to Mom Deuce. That let me know that my son now respects me enough to trust me. Mm-hmm. And if it's anything that a parent wants, is to have their children to trust them. Mm. Because a lot of times when children, people, get formed with what they view as abuse, then guess what? They don't trust you.
That's right.
The trust has been broken. Mm-hmm. And to hear him not only allowing me to talk to him, but to talk to his friend was saying a whole lot more than when I walked across that stage and got my doctorate.
Mm. It can be, like I said, that much more, because y'all build a healthy relationship that's going to build a better future for the next generation.
Right. That's right.
And what you taught him, he's going to teach to his children, and so on and so forth. That's
right.
how you really change up and make a better, hear that generational scar.
That's right.
But that's what we were summing up in chapter 11. Chapter 11 is summing up again, the generational trauma.
But I want to say one thing before I close.
Oh yeah, any final thoughts? Yes, ma'am.
I am a childhood victim. And when you can actually acknowledge that you are a childhood victim, then guess what? You will start the healing process. And everything in this book is based on my healing process and research. You get me teaching about childhood scars that will help generations of people to heal from their generational wounds and live healthier lives. Would you trust a violinist to perform surgery on you? No, you won't. Because guess what? He has not acquired enough knowledge to perform that surgery. Mm. And his purpose is to make you feel good through music. Mm-hmm. My purpose is to make you change and heal from the wounds that I experienced that were very, very painful. Mm. That's why my book stands out. And I'm not bashing any parent, caregiver, or family member. Let's get that straight. I'm a mother and have made some errors in judgment. But thank God that I had my husband to intercede numerous times to prevent, my husband at the time, to prevent me from disciplining our son like I was disciplined. We are training our children and others how to behave with us, how to treat us. So hopefully this presentation today is helping you to free yourself from the childhood scars and purchase these books and begin the healing process.
That's right. The book's going to help you start the process. This process begins with who? Yourself. Just again to sum up the chapter 11 that we were speaking of, generational trauma. Again, you have to become a change agent if you want to, set forth the right path for the next generation. It starts with you. Become a change agent. Stop letting people be delivered that are not supposed to be even at the door.
That's right.
It's too many of those going on. You wonder why you're stuck in the situation you're stuck in.
And you know what? And if you need counseling, I'm available.
That's right.
Go to www.auntiesan.com and invest in yourself by booking a counseling session. Some people say, well, $50 an hour? Yes. How many paid $200 for a concert? I just I went and got some skincare treatment, $300. What you value, you pay for.
That's right.
So if you value your healing, you'll buy the books and you'll take the counseling if needed. And I'm looking forward to counseling more people. We're running a special on counseling. You have to go to my website because Adam, he does a lot of things and didn't tell me, whatever. I'm just here to help you as much as possible. I don't want you to live 60 years in any kind of pain and suffering. I don't want it. I don't want it.
That's right.
I want to do whatever I can to help you heal. So, again, these are the books, Childhood Scars Released from Pain to Healing. It's the book and the workbook. Or you can go to www.auntiesan.com and purchase today, your session with me.
and do the counseling as well, because again, it's going to help you let go.
That's right.
It's not a weakness if you ask for help, guys, and that's what it's there for.
That's right.
But again, you can tune in to more of these Trauma Talk episodes. We'll again go on Facebook Live, answer your questions live on air. Feel free to reach out. And again, if you want to inquire about any, getting a book or starting any book clubs in the nature, please, I will pass on information to Ms. Dr. Sandra Robinson. She is a busy woman. Time is money, as y'all can hear.
Yes, I am.
So again,
it's a good busy.
It's good busy. It's all got to always be good busy.
And I want to thank you.
Oh, yeah.
You are always. I tell you, you are on the right track of where you're supposed to be. You're living your purpose when you have a person like MVP. I have Adam. Mm-hmm. I have my son. I have a person that's actually, now that I hired, that's working for me and helping me with the book, getting the books out that people want there. Because you can actually go to $ Sandra G. Robertson, and you can order your books directly from me and autograph them. So now I had so many people doing that I had to hire someone. And so, I mean, it's just like I got all these young people, all this young energy. And it's just phenomenal. So we're having a good time. Mm-hmm. And thank you all today for your time. Yes. And I hope you learned something from the Trauma Talk today on generational scar trauma.
That's right. And again, be on the lookout for more episodes coming up. Again, yes. we got the answers for your trauma. That again, that got you going through that drama. And you wonder where the source came from. It may have came from your mom. But that's why we gave you these answers, so you can help get through that in a positive way. You guys absorb the information and let's execute. Let's go. But again, rocking with the MVP and Ms. Dr. Sandra Robinson, the official doctor. I'm talking about doctor, PhD, the highest education you can get. She has that.
And don't forget, I got a book coming out on relationships. That's just right. One step from the perfect one. And I tell you right now, it's going to be, whoo.
That's going to be that one. I'm ready for that one.
It's going to be a one.
You think this is going to change your life? That relationship. Hey, look, we need to elevate ourselves, y'all.
It's fellas. A lot. It's a lot.
Fellas, read
Thank you all. Yeah. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
What's no problem. And again, I appreciate y'all for tuning in, everybody. Oh, my guy, shout out my guy, shout out Nobi1. Appreciate y'all tuning in again. Be on the lookout for more, guys. We coming. Let's go.